Did it work?
Sorry?
Apparently. Can y'all speak?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, speak.
I learned to put sentences together.
All right.
Pat's a published poet, I'll have you know.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Hey, my thing, posters not so much.
Oh, don't
The
worry.
idea come about because,
Yeah.
obviously, I've been working lots of hours, so I miss a hell of a lot what's going on in the chats recently.
It's Kiwi.
Nothing.
You got to read back, Pat.
Oh, fuck that. There's too much to read back. After working a 12-hour shift, the last thing I want to be doing is reading.
Well, it's 90% Alec talking, to be fair.
Oh, yeah. There you go. But even when I was talking the other day about films that are easy to watch, after I've been working, I couldn't sit down and watch sort of films that Rob loves watching, where there's got so much dialogue or story or whatever that sort of keeps him engaged. And there's film like that. I want to be watching something that is just I could just sit there, watch it, and just float.
Float. Are you talking about it?
Huh?
Are you talking about it?
Bang bang bang, and that though it's more like a pop of a balloon and shit like that, isn't it? I'd be more likely to sort of sit down and watch Con Air every night, like I did back in the day, than watch something that's statistically. Just looking at my Blu-ray to pick a comparison.
Something that's what?
So sit down. I'm more likely to sit down over the next 2 months and watch a film like John at night than watch something, say, fuck.
On there.
I've got a lot of shit here. Like a film like Her.
Oh, I want to watch.
Her's a great film. It's not a film that you'd watch without your full attention either.
Yeah, I've been planning to pick Her for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
I was originally going to pick it because I thought John would really like it, and then John left. And then when John came back, I was like, "Oh, I'll pick it again," but then he left again.
Well, he hasn't officially left. He's just
Nah, but he hasn't watched anything for. When did he come back? 2 months ago, maybe longer. I don't know.
It seems like a year again.
It does, doesn't it?
I would read it, but it's on my list of stuff to watch.
It is a really good film. I think you'll particularly like the sort of aesthetics of it, because it's all like near future, but things have advanced in a way that just looks really cool.
It's kind of like around the time of Ex Machina, but it doesn't have like the problems that film might have.
Yeah.
It's kind of like it's more realistic and more believable of a future in the mind.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more personal, because it's like, if this technology existed, then how would we interact with it, and how would people find themselves in shitty situations because of it, rather than just a woman who's actually a robot wants to escape and find a charger before she runs out of battery.
Yeah. and this is why Her is good, because it's kind of like we're almost there right now with AI and the technology that comes with it. It's basically the next step in that evolution, and it's really fascinating to see how someone could get attached to something that's not real, or something real getting attached to someone that is.
It's probably already happening. Like, I imagine there's like virtual boyfriend apps already and things like that.
Yeah, I see ads for that. It's like this virtual girlfriend and stuff. Like, I don't know if it's anything, but apart from clickbait, but it's quite crazy how much of that is all over like the public consciousness these days.
Yeah, There was this guy on Reddit. I don't know if you saw it, Ben, but like there was this guy who built this AI, and it was like an experiment. So like basically they built the AI and they told it that it had like a certain amount of days to live, and like the whole thing is just him like asking the AI how it feels about having like a limited time to
Oh crap, that's
essentially
horrible.
live, and like yeah, it's really interesting actually.
It's a bit like Dark Star.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like you've got your sentient bomb. You have one purpose.
yeah.
Joel,
What do you mean, bomb? What a great film.
I'm glad that that's part of my collection as well.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, after watching Blade, gone onto CEX's website and bought Blade 2 and Blade Trinity on Blu-ray.
Oh, not Trinity.
To be fair, Blade
I
Trinity
like-
isn't a good film. Trinity, if you're looking at it objectively, I hate using that word because of Alec, isn't a good film, but I found it really entertaining.
Mm.
Like, even seeing Triple H hamming it up, like, Triple H is a terrible actor.
I always
Like,
forget that he's in
For
it,
as good
to be
as he is
honest.
as a for as good of a wrestler that he was, and as good of a promoter he is, he's a terrible actor. But I even loved his D level sort of performance.
Oh, man.
But you could really tell Wesley Snipes had bored of the franchise at this point.
Yeah. I
Whereas
think
like
that's the thing.
the first
like,
two are amazing.
Oh, sorry, man.
I was just saying, like, the first two films are great. Like, I know some of you guys have like not really taken to it now. I still love it every bit as much, but like I probably still watched it more regularly than you guys have, because it's always on Sky. So like, if I'm sitting in the living room like late at night and I flick through the channels and that's on, even if it's the last 20 minutes, I'll sit there and watch it.
Yeah.
Because I not only do I like Wesley Snipes' character, but I loved Chris Christopherson in it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many?
This isn't my opening statement.
But... Oh, sorry, man.
How many was it in the end? Was it just 3?
Yeah, it was just 3.
Yeah, because I was confused if there was 3 or 4. I was just like, when's the point? Which is it? Because I know it's the last film when they find the first vampire, the first Daywalker, who's blind.
Yeah.
It like what research Mr. Frost was doing reminded me about that, even though that's not what he was doing for. I was thinking, I couldn't remember because it's been so long since I watched this film. I couldn't remember what the research was leading to.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. Like, the guy who plays Frost, I thought was going to be quite a good actor, but he's done fuck all since.
That is kind of a weird thing about this film, actually, because there's a lot of like, maybe not like, there's a lot of like tropes and stuff that like it didn't necessarily start, but it did bring to like a mainstream audience, like even Bullet Time. Like, everyone credits The Matrix for that, but this was like
This
2
came
years
before it.
before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think The Matrix did it with a bit more style.
Yeah. like, definitely. Yeah.
That's why that gets
It was only. There's no offense. Sorry, guys. I think it's only 2 years before Matrix.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 That's the thing, like, because I was kind of watching it and I was like, I can see how this is like an important film in a way, because it's like it's one of the first of like the superhero films that became super popular, and like because this was what 3 years before X-Men.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah. So so it was at the start of that, and then like also the Bullet Time stuff, and even just like Blade himself walking around in sunglasses and a trench coat. I was like, yeah, I can See how this
'Cause then-
kicked off a few things.
It's so like
You look at
90s.
Blades, and then all of a sudden you have 2 years later the Matrix come out, and you see Morpheus.
Mm. Yeah.
They're quite a similar design characters, except one's
Yeah,
massive,
it's a really similar vibe, man. Like even with the score being kind of like not like
Electronic.
yeah, it's kind of
Okay.
like industrial and sort of
Yeah.
yeah. So
Doesn't-
it's very
doesn't-
much like of its time, and I think in a way probably like I don't think it inspired like the Wachowskis to go and make.
Is Rob froze? Rob's kind of like stuck in the Matrix right now. Let me see if I can get a screenshot.
I'm actually trying to see what he's looking at through his glasses.
Yeah,
It's got a reflection on them, innit?
We see a sign of that shit.
On a separate note, are any of you watching Loki at the moment?
I am
I'm
actually.
really bad. I'm really bad at watching stuff. Like I'm still not finished Ahsoka yet.
Oh crap! You still haven't finished Ahsoka? Why?
No, I've got like 2 or 3 episodes left.
You haven't finished what? Like the Jedi side of it, or different powers or different things, and it really boils down to these characters and these kind of situations, and they're also written a bit differently. Like Andor and Solo, I can't remember as much about Solo, but Andor is kind of written in a way that it doesn't expect you to really know anything about this character.
Yeah, it's. I know what you're saying. It's more standalone. It's more like you don't need to see season 1 to 3 of Rebels to understand what's going on, which I understand. This is for the fans.
But like these actors are obviously trying their hardest, but they're given like really shitty things to work with.
Yeah, it's getting to a point. It's like you're really seeing the seams now. You're kind of like, oh, they're being stretched too thin. They're making a show when they don't really need to make a show. When they should be just making a very short standalone film, but they're stretching things out.
Oh, you've changed your stance.
Yeah.
Me?
We all have in sense, to be fair. But yeah, I know you're trying to say. I think that every audience is kind of getting a bit more wise up for like what's good and what isn't now. There, as we're saying, we're all more clued in of what, like we demand something better because we've seen how good things could be. So why can't we get that more consistency?
The thing is, now with the movies, I sort of don't see them as part of like an overarching story anymore. I just see them as each upon whatever. Well, Spider-Man and Doctor Strange were obviously linked in a way, but everything else that's come out since Endgame has they've all felt like separate things. So I've been able to sort of deal with them fine. Like I've enjoyed them at the time. I haven't really gone back to many of them, but the TV shows seem to be closely interlinked, but most of them are garbage.
I think it's just like it's the approach, in it. Like there's so many writers being hired who don't give a shit about it, and there's so many examples of like people not even looking at what's been going on before they've started writing a script for the next thing, and it shows. Like it's not at a point where you can really do that anymore because there's so much going on and like so many rules to follow.
Yeah. And that'll be said about the whole thing about Daredevil being scrapped and gone back to the drawing board because they didn't have a showrunner. It's like, wait, there was no showrunners in the other shows either? What's going on?
It's absolutely mad, man. I think what's mad as well is like, because my internet dropped, I didn't even like none of you explicitly said you were talking about Marvel, but it was so obvious.
Yeah, so this is the...
Right, shall we get on to the main event then?
Yeah, speaking of Marvel, we're talking about one of the first Marvel films.
Alec, I muted you because it was just static. It's just problems happening again. It got better for a bit.
Oh, yeah, there it is again.
Oh crap!
You
can't even hear her talk now.
It sounds like maybe your AUX cable isn't fully in or something.
Yeah, you might be unplugged.
Alec Pittman unplugged. Oh, fucking hell. You mean
Nah.
he's been plugged in the whole time? You get this?
Oh,
I'll just do it like this, I suppose.
Ah,
old
that's fair.
school.
Alright, so I guess you want to know my reasonings for picking this.
You better tell us.
So there was actually I had, as Rob and Ben would probably tell you, I had probably about 2 or 3 different choices depending on what Rob picked this round. So when I knew Rob was picking The Lost Boys and Ben was picking Poltergeist, I went on HMV to buy the Blu-rays, and they had like a deal of 3 for 30, and I was going through it, and I was like, "Oh, Blade's on this. Fuck it, I'll pick that next." That was basically the strength of me, strength of my decision making. Like,
So you picked
Damn
because
you,
of the site.
HMV.
well, yeah, HMV probably take credit for it. Good old HMV deals, but it was one that I did want to pick. Like, it's a film that I do genuinely love. Probably one of my favorite Marvel films, even when you include all the MCU stuff. Because like I've always had a liking for vampires, of the non-sparkly kind. It's how I liked Wesley Snipes, and like we were talking about how Blade and Morpheus were quite similar in sort of character design. It always came across as like a real cool badass look from back in the day.
Did you say Morpheus or Morbius?
Morpheus,
Oh.
not that fucking piece of shit Morbius,
You're upset, man.
It's funny
which is another Marvel film.
because the director of this was actually going to have a cameo where he played Morbius.
Oh dear.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was in a deleted scene,
Oh, well.
which in hindsight, I bet he's quite happy about.
But like, when did this come out? Like 97, 98?
98.
Yeah, so like a lot of sort of, it's come at sort of the end of like the big sort of vampire craze, but I think this was probably the first vampire film I'd seen. Yeah, and like I'd seen, I can't remember if this first Spider-Man film came out around this time.
I think that was a couple of years after.
Yeah, so this would have been my first Marvel film, and I saw it. I remember seeing it when a few of my older cousins, I was staying with them at the time, and I just sat there watching it with them, and I was just hooked from the very beginning. But yeah, like CGI is iffy, but like I said earlier, CGI doesn't really bother me. Good or bad, doesn't really matter to me. What I love so much about it is the characters, and I felt it was written okay. But like Wesley Snipes as Blade and Chris Christopherson as I forget his character's name, but I really liked his character.
Whistler,
that's the one. They were sort of a big part for me, and then obviously, Alec, can you help me? Who the the head vampire's name is again?
Frost.
Frost, that's the one. The guy who played him, I was surprised didn't really have many other big roles after this, because I thought he was outstanding as like a bad guy. But yeah, I'm happy I picked it. I'm happy some of you liked it. Shame on you if you didn't like it.
There are things to like about it. To be fair, like, I can get why you would like it as somebody who, you're in it for the action, like yeah. I can get it on that level, because it does have like a particular vibe to it, which I can see how that would be quite enjoyable. But yeah, I don't know, man. it was
that particular vibe. It's called anime because it's very anime-esque. I think Pat would enjoy it because of how anime-esque it is. Because of the way that each characters are with their moves and actions and the lines that they say and the movements that they do, it's very anime-esque. It's kind of like anime before anime.
Was that why the dialogue was terrible and sounded like it hadn't been written by a native English speaker?
Oh, I don't
Yeah,
think the
but like
dialogue was terrible.
the dialogue was a bit shit. I mean, like
It was
ice skating
cheesy.
up-
It was.
yeah, but like you know, ice skating up a hill is like it's definitely like an anime-ish sounding line. It's kind of like yeah, some motherfuckers keep ice skating up hills. It's like yeah, that's the fucking anime line, and that's just like yeah, that's it suits that sort of like niche. I
know Rob's
guess
gonna
would be just
I know Rob's going to want to say it, but he is frozen at the minute. Wesley Snipes actually improvised that line.
But it's also like I guess it's mainly the ending scenes. It's all the action shots where he somehow super focuses onto the sword and he kind of does like a comic book like zoom in, and afterwards it's like yeah, that's incredibly anime. That's so anime. It's kind of like it emphasizes the comic book origins that it is, and I think that's like a credit to its part, I guess. But it's kind of like I don't know what you were really going for. That's why the story score for me is like everything else is generally acceptable because I still kind of because I like anime, it's acceptable for me. Everything else is like the story is a bit.
That being an anime fan has made your standards lower because. Honestly,
no, it made my no. All I'm saying is that being as an anime fan, I kind of go right. I kind of get the niche. The story is a bit pants.
Except
because like no. Some anime stories are really extremely well made. This wasn't. It's because like there's a whole conversation about like they're in the States. They're in the States, right? This is set in America.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that vampire temple come from? Because like if it was like in like Europe and they had like ancient like things, right? I'd be like, yeah, okay, sure, what? But they were in like Chicago or like San Francisco, and it's like there was like so you're saying that we're like vampires during the Pilgrims, and they had to dig down and make this vampire temple. Is that what I saw it and I was like, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
You know what, actually, that's actually a really good point, and it actually makes it a little bit campy because, like, you know how pretty much everything in America is like a replica of something in Europe. So for that to exist, it probably means that some European vampires went over and built what they knew from Europe, and that's like.
I don't know, and because of it's mainly because of things like that. I would go, the story is a bit, it's a bit flippant for like an action thing. But I was like, oh wait, because it's kind of like early Marvel stuff. It's kind of like I kind of guessed it would be, because like seeing like executive producer Stan Lee there during the opening credits, it's just like, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, I kind of get what it was going for. But it's just like. I just didn't agree with it. Actually, oh yeah, go on.
No, I was just gonna say like what you were saying about kind of like the anime inspirations and all that kind of stuff. I think like it's very obvious that this is one of the first Western action films that tried to do that, because I was saying before you got here, like the stuff like the bullet time and all of that kind of stuff. Even though it was only like a year before The Matrix came out. There's so much difference between the bullet time in this and the bullet time in The Matrix. Like, even though like this is the one that presumably did it first in like a live action context, like the two of them together are just like worlds apart.
Yeah.
I mean, like, to be honest, I was waiting for that like super cliche. He shoots a bullet, but then afterwards he uses his sword to cut the bullet in half. And I was like, when did that trope become a thing? I know that's a trope somewhere. I don't know where it's from. I was thinking, oh wait, is that where it started? This where it started? No, it didn't happen here. I was like, oh, shame. But like, yeah. And unfortunately, because it's like an early like pre-2000s film, it had the CGI problems that all pre-2000 films had, and like, I don't know what to say. The practical effects I didn't mind so much. It's the not serum. Is it? It's the blue liquid where they go
Yeah.
bubble face. That I just like Pat. I mean, like I remember watching this film kind of, and I was like, I kind of remember that scene. I was like, oh yeah, it didn't look a bit right. You know what I mean?
It felt very 80s.
I mean,
but not done as like, because where they've gone, I think they've gone in between the practical effects and the CGI. It sort of didn't look as good as the practical effects and wasn't great looking CGI for that specific thing. I think it just didn't come out looking that good, but it didn't really bother me, however.
I think it's like visually, it's a really weird film anyway. Like I don't know if anybody had the same thing that I had, but like the scene with the fat dude. So that's all practical, but I don't know if there was like some kind of like lens filter or something that they were using. But like I kept looking at it and thinking like I can't tell if that's practical or CGI.
Yeah, it had a weird like. Yeah, you're right. The filter on, or whatever it was, that's a color grading, just made it had this like modern futuristic matrixy sheen to it. I don't know if maybe it's just to make it blend in with the rest of the movie, but I know what you mean.
It's really strange because like I can't remember what I saw it now, but I saw some like behind the scenes footage, and like the guy's just like sat there in this huge fat suit, and in that like just like somebody like filming backstage, it looks really cool, and yeah, I don't know. There's just something about it in the film where like it just looked really jarring for me, and I was trying to work out whether it was practical or not.
A mix of both, because in the credits they even showed how they got people in specifically for not just some of the additional SFX, but also Frost's death. So I feel like they did some additional they did a mix of both, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just that one scene where like I don't know. I feel like if they played with it less, it would have looked really cool. But there was just this really weird kind of. It was a bit like a what do you call it? An uncanny valley kind of thing. Like it just didn't look right for whatever reason. But there was loads of things like that where I was kind of going like. Well, even to be fair, even in the story, to be fair, but like there was loads of things where I was like, yeah, the intention's really cool, but the execution's, yeah, it's lacking something. Like the handle on the sword, like the idea behind it, I was kind of like, yeah, that's neat, but like the mechanism looks so flimsy.
Mechanisms look flimsy. The spikes look blunt. Every time, the sword really fucking irritated me. Because I actually counted on this watch. I was like, okay, it takes 12 seconds of having the sword in your hand till the spikes come out. And then I was waiting for the bit where Quinn, who's fighting him on like the edge of the train thing, and then the girl's like, oh, okay, and she passes. Like she first grabs the sword, has to pull it out of like concrete, and then stab Quinn, and then give it back to Blade. It takes fucking 24 seconds before any spikes come out. And I was like, why did you establish that it takes 12 seconds for it to pop out when you don't... before you say it, he didn't tell her how to turn it off.
Oh, that's true. Actually, that is true. Right?
What I would is that she's smart. She's resourceful, I would say. And we watched her watch it go around. She saw the notch. It's not quite sure what it's about. And saw the spikes come out. She also had so she would have been like, no, that was sorry. But she watched it once. I believe she would have been resourceful enough to be like, oh yeah, that thing. Let me like off camera, and then do the stuff and pass the sword over. Because she actually saw it work. She saw the mechanisms, and she's very smart. She's probably got a PhD or whatnot. Not book smart people are, but she was one of these not annoying characters that catches on quickly to things that I like. So
You don't have to work this hard to defend this. You can just say it's shit.
No, don't get me wrong. They could have included. I'm just saying she is the type of character that probably would have figured that out very quickly.
Well, I mean, like, she had the problem. I had the problem with that anyways, because she seemed to be very skilled at shooting guns, even though she's like in the medical field, and like it's not a person who typically would be shooting guns. So it's just like you're really a bit too good with like the firearms, and I kind of like.
Oh, Simon,
She's American.
That's true.
Ain't it ingrained in the blood?
Confirm or deny.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, I've no retort to that. Okay, never mind. Okay, sure, absolutely.
You just go and hand a gun to Emmanuel, and he's just like, "I've never held a gun in my life," and he's just like, "Oh, go on, try it." And
You
then
had
he
to
just
come to a toddler over there, and they're like,
He's gonna be a fucking like sharpshooter. He's like, yeah, perfect, fucking perfect. But yeah, I guess like the sword thing is a bit contentious to his. Well, the blade thing is contentious to his character, and it's just like then afterwards it's things like about the guns. It's like the bullets as well. Again, it's part CGI, part like practical effects. It just looks a bit. It just looked a bit off, right? And like, I know it's because of like the timing. Everyone was using the CGI stuff because, especially where that's just the most problematic, is right at the end when Blade is fighting Frost. He does the superhero landing and he's like slicing him up and like slices him in half, right? And afterwards he splits in half and the blood is like that weird, like I don't know, like 100 FPS like CG, like weird blood liquid, and he sticks himself back together. And I looked at it and I was like, I don't know, I feel like I want to buy like some like cherry aid or something. I was talking about it doesn't look like blood. It just looks like I want to buy some like some like cherry soda or something. It's like I can't make this thirsty. I don't know.
That was a weird design choice.
Yeah, it was just something. But like again, it's that early sort of like pre-2000s and 2000s era of like CGI, and it's just like yeah, sure. Probably when I was younger, I probably thought this was like the realest shit. It's like when I was like kid me watching this, like, yeah, this is fucking the most realest thing. Yeah, that's exactly what blood looks like. It's like now it's just like yeah.
But I think that's the thing as well. Like I think part of it is just how much CGI there is. Because if you compare this with like Terminator 2, it's like Terminator 2 is brilliant, and I think part of it is just because like it's used sparingly, whereas this is just like whatever opportunity we've got to use it, we're going to chuck it at you, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't look very good.
when Pat brought up the first Spider-Man, I was kind of like, what is the CGI like in that really? And it's like swinging animations and then like the bit where everyone turns into skeletons, and it's like other than that I can't really point to a lot. So like
I didn't mind the skeleton turning part. Like even in this movie, the skeleton turning thing was quite good actually. It was like acceptable. No, it was the point. It's the point where it's CGI, but it was.
If you're an anime fan, I'm sure it looks brilliant.
It's acceptable CGI. You know, there's certain CGI you go, yeah, sure, why not? That's like of the time, that's fine. But
Simon, did you say exceptional or acceptable?
Acceptable.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, no, not exceptional. No, it's not. I've been drinking a lot, sure, and lighting fireworks, but like I haven't been drinking that much. But it was okay for what they were trying to do. But then afterwards, I feel like they used all their budget. Then afterwards, they did the blowy balloon face blood stuff, and it was like, okay, sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that was my two kind of like main issues with it. Really, is that like the visuals were just weird. But then I always find that the fights were choreographed really strangely. Like there was loads where like they were just kind of like roundhousing towards one another.
Spinning's a neat trick.
They weren't of the series, they weren't taking it, I think, super serious in some points. So, and that's why, like, they'll put in some random stuff, like the roundhouse kicks. They were just roundhousing and not hitting each other. It's just like, what is this? And then he just punches the guy, just walks off. It's just like, I'm not.
It just reminded me of that episode of The Simpsons where like Bart and Lisa are just going like, "I'm going to be doing this in midair, and if you get hit, that's your own fault."
There are a couple of
This
points
is
I noticed where, like,
like,
the stunt person or the other actor like really, really, really sold it, and Wesley Snipes didn't really. Like, I think when he's got the familiar, like the police officer, he's like got to push him, and I noticed the police officer kind of like having to react a lot harder than what Wesley Snipes did, which was he just went like that, and he was like, and yeah. There was just every now and then, because like I think like Wesley Snipes obviously like pretty good at the whole martial arts sort of stuff, but like they kept in some weird bits where he wasn't quite on form, I think.
I don't know if it was that he wasn't on form, or if it was just that they were choreographed in a way to like make him look badass all the time, and that just like it just looks weird.
Well, I mean, you can't just do action sequences or the content thing. You need like smaller breaks in between the action scenes to make the action scenes look cool. Because if he keeps just doing the same sort of action scene, it becomes like, all right, chill it down a bit, or it just everything looks kind of like bland and blurs together. That's why I feel like during the scenes where he's fighting off all the minions, like he's got like he stabs a few ones and he like does a round slice for another one. Then one just jumps in through the window and he just pushes him down. And I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck was the point of that? I was like, all right, no, the pacing needs to be a bit more balanced. So it just could be too much action and it could be like, it just blurs the eyes. It's like, oh, wait, that was an action scene, right? Yeah, okay, he might have done something cool. Then afterwards, he goes back and roundhouses at each other. And then it's like, okay, sure, why not? Sure, why not?
I think that's the thing though, because it is just that everything is supposed to look cool, and like Blade is supposed to look like he's the one in control of every situation. And I don't know, man. I find that all a bit dull, I suppose. Like I much prefer the kind of like, well, I suppose like the Jackie Chan kind of like action where it's like he's on the back foot and he has to like work out what's going on to get an upper hand. Like I would
argue for Jackie Chan movies, it's action plus comedy. So the pacing is during the like it can be cool looking, but it can also be funny looking. So it's so for this one, it's kind of like it's cool for coolness sake, but it doesn't really pull off the cool because it kind of goes, because of again roundhouse and pushing off the windows and all the other stupid stuff, and you go, it's not as cool as it could be because it does like it loses cool points.
This is always the thing with choreography though. What's cooler, a guy fucking absolutely bitching 50 people without sweating, or a guy going up against like 3 people who are like really good and they're putting him through his paces and he's having to kind of struggle a bit and work it out and all that like in real time, and then he somehow manages to like just beat them and he's like, fuck it. Like that's way cooler to me than like when you think of like the hallway fight scene in Daredevil where it's constantly revolving and he is getting tired and he's having to chuck stuff to kind of keep people away from him. He's like, he has to throw like a TV at someone. But like right at the end of it, he's like, he's up against the wall and he's just like, I am fucking exhausted. And I was like, that seems to me like a lot better. Like he manages to overcome 6 people like just by himself, but he is fucking tired. I find that way more effective than Blade's just killed everybody and walked off with no problem.
That's exactly it, man. Because if you're starting at the point where like, so you only really have to see one fight to know that he's not going to have any trouble, and then once you're already at that point, and everything is just like a series of him not having much trouble until the end of it, it's like, well, I don't know if there's no kind of, if you're not even having to think to get through this, I I don't know what to grab onto.
It's sort of like
Isn't
another
that-
first fight when he's coming and he's got the shotgun, and then the vampire girl's like, right, I got this. Meat hooks, and I'm like, oh cool, you're gonna like run up like kind of silently and try and like just blindside him. She's like, nah, I'm gonna shriek. And I'm like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah.
He has got a shotgun. Maybe you don't wanna.
Yeah, that's true. Because like talking about it, it just reminded me of all you guys just talking about it, like especially with the hallway fight or fighting in the hallway. So it's like reminded me of Old Boy and how that was done. And it's like, all right, yeah, that was a much more interesting fight because it took him struggles, it took him getting beat a bit, but then afterwards he was able to like outsmart them a bit. Then he could kill a couple of them. Then
He's
he
using-
continued on.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
getting through these people because he's using the space to his advantage, and he's got a hammer, and they've got like little sticks, and he's like, he's just more willing to like just break knees and hands and feet and shit like that, and they're like, Jesus, shit. Like no one really wants to go at him.
Mm.
Just a
That's
bit-
the thing.
like, it's quite manic, but Blade, I don't know
That's-
why you don't just leave right away.
That's exactly it as well, because in Blade, like, because he doesn't have to really think about what he's doing. The only kind of character you're getting from those fights is that he's the one who's in control, and he's like this super like adept person. Whereas in Old Boy, like you said, like you're getting an idea of like how far he's willing to go and like what he's willing to do and all of that kind of stuff. Like you lose all of that if the only point of the fight is to look cool.
Because then it's also like you lose it on the other side as well, because no one has any agency if they're not Blade. So they try and hit him. Don't know why you'd bother, because if he's just invincible. And like, yeah, it was stuff like that, because I was like, do people want to shoot him or something? And I'm like, can he? I couldn't remember. I was like, can Blade get killed by guns? I can't. Is it like a vampire thing? I can't remember. And then I was just like, because I was just wondering that throughout. I was like, I don't know. So I was like, I'm not really getting. I don't know what kills him, so I don't know. I'm kind of just here to watch him kick ass, I suppose. And it's like, yeah, I've got a little nephew, and he's showing me Devil May Cry and how cool he is at that, and I'll just sit here and endure this for a bit.
That's actually very apt, right? But like,
Yes.
I feel like for like Blade, it's just like because he was at first there were just like a bunch of police officers shooting at him and trying to kill him through guns. I think he can die through guns, but it's a question of like it was a thing about no, I need him alive for the ritual, so don't just shoot him and kill him. I was like, maybe right. I'm not 100% sure. It's like maybe that's why they didn't send the best people like to constantly try to kill him. Because oh no, we need to. It's like maybe points. It's like I feel like that could be why for it, but it's like even if that is the case, it's kind of like that's a very shit point. It's kind of like I mean it could make sense, but it's like it's a bit
save it almost, because if he's like, yeah, just as soon as he's going like, no, I need him alive, nobody shoot him, I need him. I'm like, we can skip the fight scene then. Like, why?
Yeah, pretty much right. Yeah. Actually,
there's a position here. If they can't kill him, then there's no fucking point.
Just lie down.
they just need to.
It's like Austin.
Oh no, they just need to.
Yeah.
They just need.
Just sit, just lay
Yeah, they just needed his mother just to come up suddenly, go shock him, and afterwards, then that's the only way they could have stopped him. Yeah, they needed to see his mum again.
I don't know why the mum isn't more of a thing,
Mm.
because I'm sort of like, you need a recurring villain who Blade is having trouble killing, and you have his mum on the bad guy side. Instead, you hire Donald Logue to be the most irritating character ever, and he just doesn't kill him for no reason whatsoever. Like not the opening scene, we just see him and he wades through about 50 people, and then he gets to Donald Logue, and then he shoots him and doesn't kill him, And then he shoots him again and doesn't kill him. And then he's like, vampires are hard to kill. And I'm like, no, they're not. I've been in this film for 10 minutes now, and I know for a fact they're not hard to kill. Like, this, don't know why this guy's any different. And then him surviving is what gets the girl in the plot. And I'm like, oh, well, why is that? And it's like, oh, Blade comes into the hospital and he's like, I came here to finish you off. And I'm like, why didn't you just kill him like everybody else that you just killed? Like, what? Like, there was no reason to let him live.
Oh, the way you said that. The way you said that might reminds Rob of that time with Wade Barrett and Daniel Bryan. I'm here to shave your beard.
That was really funny because when you said it, I was like, "How do you know it reminds me?" And then you said it, and I was like, "No, fair enough."
So nice delivery, Alec. Jog the memory that I enjoyed.
You're welcome. Well, what's the?
It's a wrestling thing, isn't it?
Okay.
That's it. That was all there is to it. Like, it's just a thing that both me and Rob remember. It has no consequence on anyone else.
Oh, okay. Not in wrestling club. Can't know. Very well.
Anyway, back to Blade.
Yeah.
So what's with his weird Odysseus Rex complex?
Oh, that's interesting.
Because like it was the way that, especially with the mother character that was portrayed with Blade, like when they first see each other again.
Portrayed?
It seems almost creepy, right? You know, because the way that she like looks at him and like goes to him, it's like it was so fucking creepy. I was like, I don't remember remember the scene, and I was like, why is it so? It was I don't know how to explain it more than it was creepy. Then after you realize that the person that turned him into the vampire is technically Frost, and so Frost is technically his vampiric like father, I guess, and he's trying to kill his dad. And I'm like, oh right. I was like, all right, isn't that like, yeah, creepy, incest creepy? That's not. That's not good. I didn't realize that was what we were trying to do here, because like, Seek. It's mainly because it's mainly the scene where she locks him up into that like weird like blood chamber thing, and her face gets really close to his face to the point where they almost kiss, and it's like, is this what the directors were going for? I don't know, because I always just know it's like, damn, vampires are sick, gross. It's gross, absolutely gross. I don't know. How about you guys? It just seems a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It was, but I was like, you're a bit close. You definitely don't see this kid as your son. That is obvious. You just see this guy as some guy. You don't see him as your son. You don't care. You've lost your morals a very long time ago. You have like none left. Cool. And that was evident when she was basically trying to kill him or slash him.
She just loves them roundhouse kicks.
But
whether they hit anyone is inconsequential.
Try spinning. That's a cool trick.
my mistake. I with it. I enjoyed, I think, most of the Blade films, to be frankly honest. It's one moment in some one lady had teeth down there, and the guy who was interacting with her, I was like, man, so long, farewell. Or 3. I can't remember.
What was that?
which one, number 2 or 3 of Blade? Was there some lady who had teeth down there?
I think it was the third one.
Yeah. Oh,
It sounds like Trinity.
Because I think that's where the very non-PG Ryan Reynolds line came in.
I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I was about to say, I can't remember what was the.
It's Ryan Reynolds at his most controversial. There's not.
It was.
Oh, okay.
It was. I remember the line. I just don't remember the.
It's just vodka if it had its wish granted.
Nah, he called her a cock juggling thunder cunt.
Oh man. What?
So, like, if Rob was getting royalties for this, I've just killed it by quoting Ryan Reynolds.
I wouldn't be holding the royalties.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I had a good time. It was cool, like watching it all, seeing like it. I know Marvel is like comic compared to like different things that were going on. They were like slightly ahead of their time trying to do different stuff, but then also the
Oh, I thought I'd been kicked out again.
It cut out for me. Is Emmanuel still there?
Emmanuel's frozen for me.
Okay. Yeah, because like I can't.
Oh, it's been a rough night for this stream already, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's been like pissing down and like the storms have been raging. So I was just able to get the fireworks off into like just in time before 11. So I was like, yeah, sure. I feel like the weather lately has been piss or literally pissing down, and it just
fucking brilliant.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
It was quite nice earlier because I was just watching my garden fill up with water. And I was just sort of stood at the back thinking, this is something therapeutic about this.
I don't mind it so much.
I mean, I guess but
the other morning, going to work, I had a big puffer jacket on, I had a hoodie on, I had my t-shirt on underneath, I had my work t-shirt in my bag, and literally everything was fucking soaked.
Yeah.
So I had to spend the next 12 hours drying out.
Yeah, it's not good when you're committing, that's for sure.
Yeah. As John would say, you should invest in an umbrella.
Yes, very much so.
The quintessential.
You wouldn't be sunburned if you had a hat.
But at the same time, it was windy, so the umbrella would have been turned inside out as well.
I can't be dealing with umbrellas, man.
Ah, fuck that. I'm too old for that shit.
Too old?
I feel like it's a young person's thing.
Really?
Wait, how? Like, how? Is it like a thing? Do you become waterproof as you're older? What are you talking about?
I used to have an umbrella as a kid.
Yeah,
can you not have an umbrella as an adult? What are you saying? You grew up. What? It's just like fucking like diapers, right? What the fucking are you talking about?
You watch people walk past with umbrellas and go, it's a young man's game.
Plus, I feel like I look cooler just with the hood up.
Yeah, but you're drier with an umbrella.
Well,
that's the words of a young man.
Yeah, like my jacket should have been sufficient enough. It's supposed to be a rain-resistant jacket. It fucking got more holes in it than Old Trafford's roof.
Well, yeah, I mean it's rain-resistant, right? It's not like rain-proof. So I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, I think there's rain and then there's rain. Yeah.
Well, that was fucking God dumping piss all over us.
Oh, Emmanuel has a leaf. Oh, damn. All right. But talking about that, maybe I need to find out what that SPF for that fucking like sunblock that those vampires needed, because we could have used that when we went to fucking Bournemouth. Because that was like some extreme like. I don't even think. I think it was just like paint. He just painted himself like pale white. And I was like, yeah, okay, that probably could stop the sun as well.
That was one of those ones where I was like, you have established it. You have stayed consistent with it. I think it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It just feels like they've kind of like written themselves into a situation that they tried to get themselves out with sun cream, and it's not the. Yeah, I don't know. They could have done without it.
Even like the motorcycle helmet thing, I was like, don't know. Don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, if you go to Vampire Lore, I don't think I don't think that's how it works. But you know, when in Rome.
Yeah, I just like the idea. Like the sun is my only weakness. Oh, I'll just make myself look like a knob, and now I'm immune to the sun. Now it's just like I don't know. Don't know.
I mean, there's a lot of holes. I don't think it's necessarily a film that requires that wants you to use much logic for it either.
No, I think that's ideal for it. It's definitely going like, please,
Well, I mean,
please don't question anything.
it's also a question of like how much is this like compared to like the actual Blade comics, right? I guess that's a question I don't think any of you guys can really answer because like I have not read like Blade comic books, so I was like, if this is what happens in the comic books, and it's like actually, oh no, this is actually quite lore accurate, I'll be like, yeah, sure, fair enough. That's in your own universe. If that happens in your own universe, sure, fuck it, why not, right? But it's a bit stupid, but like it's your own established rules. But it's like, I don't agree, but like, if that's your rule set, sure, why not? It's because I mean, it's just looking at it and seeing this film, and like, how did this film make a profit? I can't remember.
Let me go and have a look.
The numbers, man, numbers out of it.
I haven't done this in a while, have I?
Well, it's just like thinking about it though, because this is the thing that helped set up, like, well, I wouldn't say set up, but like it helped like establish Stan Lee as a producer and like get like that Marvel like stepping stone into the movie universes. Then afterwards, it slowly builds up from that. Then afterwards, you go, oh yeah, Blade was okay. Then afterwards, we make Spider-Man. Then Spider-Man makes money. Then we do Iron Man, and then it makes the MCU. Because like this is like one of the, I wouldn't say first Marvel movies, but it's like one of the earlier Marvel movies that have been made.
I think it might be the second, to be fair.
Well, it's got a $45 million budget. It made 131 million.
Yeah, that's I feel like that's established to be okay for like Marvel movies during that time. So yeah, again, yeah. So this helped like.
I think at the time, like, I think that's a pretty good return. Because you've got to think, like, I'd imagine in the late 90s, you didn't have the amount of like cinemas that are now. Like, you take like the Dagenham area, for example. Like, you got what, 2 in Romford, 1 in Dagenham, within like what 20 minutes of each other. And in the middle of London, you've got like 8 cinemas. So if you have like a set of showings of a specific film in each cinema, you're going to make a ton of money out of it. Whereas like Blade will probably be shown in like one town, like one cinema in one town. You're probably not going to get as many screenings out of it. So I think it done a pretty good return on it.
Yeah, it was a modest hit. It wasn't like Spider-Man level massive blockbuster or even X-Men, but it still was enough to be like, oh, actually. Because I was going to mention this actually, because what's interesting about Blade is that it came up before, obviously, comic book movies were cool and kind of like in vogue kind of thing. So it was kind of like film studios and filmmakers were kind of like, they would never advertise it and market it as this is Blade from the Marvel comics. They wouldn't say that in the advertising. I think it was at that period in history, in that decade, where they wanted to flog it as an original idea. And if they said it was like a comic book movie, everyone would be look down their nose at it and be like, "This is for kids." So they would be like, "That this is just an original horror adjacent action movie." So you can see that until after this kicked off, and then when Spider-Man kicked off, everyone was like, actually saying comic book movies is a good thing, and maybe we could advertise them more. So it's an interesting kind of like first stepping stone in that direction.
But you'd also go back to the last Joel Schumacher Batman, where this is concerned. Like, you guys might like it, but that last one sort of nearly killed the comic book sort of genre.
Oh yeah, it almost.
So I think this was the first comic book film after that.
I think, to be fair, for DC it was, but I think Marvel wasn't like it wasn't quite as bad because they weren't doing any hits at all. This was like Howard the Duck going into this. It was kind of like very niche.
That'd make sense, like, for people that were into comic book stuff. But like, your cats would be like, "Oh, I remember that shit Batman film. I don't know about this. I don't know about this comic book stuff." And you just at that point, there was probably more of the sort of casual sort of moviegoer at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
But now you've got like fucking everyone wants to watch a comic book film, even though I'm fucking tired of them.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's true now.
It's gone full circle.
Oh, I
there was a
guarantee you,
phase.
the Marvel so well.
But yeah, I think even if that close, everyone knows Batman's from a comic, but everyone wouldn't know who Blade is. Everyone's like, "Who's Blade?" This is quite a D-list character that even most hardcore fans would be like admit to that not being in the big top 3 or something. So for the casual audience, you'll be like, "Oh, Blade sounds like a cool vampire flick. Let's watch that." So.
It's kind of interesting actually, because like if you look at the highest grossing films of the 90s, this was the third highest comic book film. And to be fair, like the top one, you might not even count as a comic book adaptation because it is so different to the comics. The first was Men in Black. And
fair enough. Yeah, it's a comic book series. I remember.
I didn't know that.
It's technically Marvel as well. Technically.
Oh, that I didn't know. Okay.
Well, only because Marvel bought out the publisher that was putting it out.
Oh.
Disney, yeah, that's right. It was Malibu Comics that became Marvel, that became Disney.
Yeah. And the second highest grossing was Batman Forever.
Nice.
Why would people pay to watch that?
They did in droves.
Yeah, man. To watch it. I quite like it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm pretty sure there's a DVD set somewhere in my house.
I'll grant you it's the second best of the first 4 Batman films.
I would rather sit down and watch Morbius.
No,
you wouldn't. Honest, come on, man.
The Morbius. I mean, Emmanuel might.
Yeah, I'll be honest. You're probably right.
Yeah.
I'd probably still watched both of them over Dragon Ball Evolution, though.
I mean, there's nothing that can be said about that.
There's a lot of things you can watch for Dragon Ball Evolution.
Yeah, and basically the entirety of Film Club.
I need to see this.
No, you don't. You really don't need to see it. I mean,
that's how bad it is. Because someone doesn't want to pick it.
It'll be a waste of your life.
It's so bad, right? Like, I have shit movies. This is the point where I have a shit list that I go, do I want even this on my shit list? And the answer is no. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is, really.
I was disappointed with it, man.
I
hated it that much that if I was given an option of watching it again, but I'd have to give up watching sport completely, or watching it again and still having what I enjoy doing, I would opt not to watch it and give up watching all sport. And everyone knows how much I love sport.
It kind of just passed me by, man. Like, I went into it expecting it to be this terrible thing, and then it just sort of it started and went on for a bit and ended, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, but to be fair, Rob,
No, Rob,
you were
Rob,
never
Rob.
really into
It's-
Dragon Ball.
Oh no, but like, it's
For like
well,
Dragon Ball
no.
fans,
Hmm.
it's a spit in the
Yeah.
face.
Because we went into it expecting bad, and somehow it was even worse than bad. That's how bad it is.
We went in
That's
expecting bad, and we came out being
even more disappointed.
insulted.
Yeah, that's like, oh, fucking. Can't believe we're talking about this still.
Someone's going to end up picking it.
No, it's not me.
No.
It's not. Well, I mean, Alec, would you pick it?
Yeah,
Don't, please don't.
Oh,
there was a
no.
there
Oh,
was
shit.
there was an idea for a special round once where we'd like spin a roulette wheel and somebody would pick a film on behalf of someone else, and that would. I mean, there's
Yeah,
three
but
of you that we could have picked it for.
Yeah, but,
if we
but,
do.
but,
And if John
But
was here
Rob-
for,
but Rob, if it's like that, it'll be like me rolling the dice again and somehow getting Grinch. So it's like, that's a very dangerous game to play. We can definitely do it. But like, it's like, are you sure? I just choose some really fucking obscene
To be fair,
movies.
to be fair, Rob, you say that, right? But that could work opposite to you, because I could end up picking on your behalf and picking Deadpool.
You know what? Rachel has been
Oh.
threatening Mamma Mia.
I mean, it's not the worst film.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I mean, like, wait, Rob. Would you watch Deadpool or would you rather watch Mamma Mia?
I'd rather watch Deadpool.
The thing
Oh
is,
wow,
Deadpool,
that's a long pause. Fucking hell.
Deadpool isn't a bad film. It's just some annoying. It's just what you call it? Deadpool himself is annoying.
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
meant
not
to-
Yeah, but
necessarily a bad.
that's the point. Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people who don't like it because how over the top annoying, more than normal Ryan Reynolds is. But he's playing the character the way it's
Oh,
supposed
he's
to be.
about the same.
No, I wouldn't say that. Like, I mean, like Deadpool has always been like an edgy for the sake of it character, but I think when you put Ryan Reynolds in a Deadpool costume, it creates like an exponential annoyance effect.
Do you know what it needed more? Director Zack Snyder, considering he's supposed to be.
I wish he did. I really do.
Wait. Zack Snyder was supposed to make Deadpool?
No,
Odd
I'm
man.
saying one thing it needed was Zack Snyder to be the director, because he's supposed to be the edgelord.
I would absolutely love it if Zack Snyder directed a Deadpool
So
film.
would I.
Get and Taika Waititi involved as well.
Yeah, and get Dwayne Johnson as Colossus.
Yeah, The Rock can play multiple characters.
Well,
So
I mean,
can
if it's
Gal
like,
Gadot.
And then I'd pick it, so Rob would have to watch it anyway.
But there's some actually interesting Deadpool stories, but
No,
no, it's where he like the edgiest one.
Sus.
Sorry, it's where he kills everyone. It's kind of like, all right, Deadpool versus the world, and I was like, all right, yeah, he kills all of the Marvel universe. And I was like, oh, it's kind of an interesting story, but it's like, yeah, that's again, if you don't like Deadpool, it doesn't matter.
One thing about Deadpool I remember so much, or I remember well, is when Spider-Man like Deadpool's dropping from some building or whatever. Spider-Man saves him, kind of thing, from breaking his neck or whatever. So they can keep on fighting the people they're fighting, 'cause they're constantly in this fight. And Deadpool just won't shut the fuck up. And Spider-Man's just like, you know what? I wish I let you drop. And I was just like, that's how I feel with him pretty much all the time. This is why I never liked Deadpool.
It's so stupid.
Right, so that's 3 people against it. I probably shouldn't pick it at any point.
Well, I mean, like, it's like, I'll probably watch it, right? But I'll be like, fuck. This isn't as good as I remember it. But, like, fuck,
Because it's just like you said, he plays him exactly as he is. And I want to see number 2 for the other actors, not necessarily for Deadpool, because I like the take on Domino and like Kane and whatnot. But like, yeah, it was. I watched the film once, and I was just like, okay, I've watched it. That's it.
I just realised actually that's another thing that's annoying about Deadpool, because there was that whole thing about how it was like the first R-rated Marvel movie, and we've just watched one.
Yes. Oh,
Well,
wait. Was it R or was it NC-17? Actually, that's worse.
It was
Oh, it's
well,
over
I
there.
guess
Well, it's an
not-
18.
A Marvel film that bad yet.
Blade is
Yeah,
an
I mean-
18.
Yeah,
Well,
but
I mean-
18 isn't. Sorry, Simon. 18 isn't a US rating. That's a UK rating.
Yeah, but that would be an R rating in America, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the hangover is
not
like
necessarily.
there's a 15 here, but it's an R in America, so it's kind of means nothing.
So
that's true.
It does have someone shooting a lot of people, so it would probably be Universal.
Probably, but the
They
thing
can just
is,
look out their window and see that. That's fine.
NC-17 is worse than an R.
But
And
it's
Yeah.
Marvel.
Like-
They'll see it in the school, so it would be Universal.
Oh
I
my
don't
goodness.
think there's been an NC-17 comic book movie in general yet.
Oh, okay.
Not that I can think of. I mean, I think something like Antichrist probably is an NC-17 across the board, but I don't think even Watchmen is that bad, or even Logan.
For a second, sorry, Ben. I thought you said.
Yeah.
I thought you said Antichrist was part of the Marvel universe.
Oh,
I was
right.
like, wait, what the fuck are you saying? Well,
Yes.
which is also the point I was gonna say. I don't think Blade had like the Marvel like logo attached to it.
That's what I was
It's
saying.
still not really accepted as a Marvel film.
No, that's even
Oh.
if it obviously is, it still was never advertised as that because the filmmakers didn't trust the Marvel brand to sell tickets. That's the whole thing.
Mm.
But now they would slap that logo all over it.
Yeah, but I still can't watch it on Disney Plus.
No, because it's New Line owns the rights, so it's a Warner Brothers film technically.
Oh,
Oh wait, it's New.
That's
Oh yeah,
weird.
New Lines is it? Yeah, I didn't realize they were owned by Warner Brothers. So yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
That's why it's a bad mess.
that's funny. They have a Marvel film on their books,
Yeah.
but they do all these DC films currently.
Yeah, but like New Line Cinema do a lot of things. New Line Cinema has fucking Mortal Kombat on their books, to be honest, right? And that's just like I don't even know where to go from that, right?
Get over
Mortal-
it.
Yeah, I haven't watched Mortal Kombat for ages. I wonder if I should choose Mortal Kombat.
The new Mortal Kombat's actually pretty decent.
You pick that, yeah. There you go.
No, definitely gonna choose the old-fashioned Mortal Kombat where it goes with the fucking like techno music of Mortal Kombat.
That's like you picking John Lance.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I would definitely pick it just to be a fucking asshole. I just like, yeah, sure, absolutely.
No, please no.
Please no. All right, but in any case, so back to Blade. What else is there to ask? Oh, actually, who's Whistler? What's his name?
Chris Christoph.
Oh, Winslow.
Right. I kept thinking he was Jeff Bridges for some reason.
And
And
really?
like,
That would have been left
Don't know
field.
why. I really thought you were going to say Santa Claus.
but it's funny as well.
Asking to get Santa Claus to play Abraham Whistler.
But it's funny as well because there's been interviews with Christoph.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, but it's because like everyone, there's actually been questions of like, are you and Jeff Bridges related? It's like, no, we just play brothers a lot in a lot of movies, so it just happens to be everyone thinks that, and it's like, oh, I guess yeah, because like I was like when I first saw it, I thought I didn't remember Jeff Bridges being in. I was like, oh wait, that's not Jeff Bridges. It just really looks like Jeff Bridges. I just couldn't help it. I just kept thinking, Jeff Bridges. No, not Jeff Bridges. Fuck.
If all old white men look the same to you.
With that particular haircut and beard, yeah, Jesus.
Isn't there another one that sort of people mix up? Fuck, let me get his name.
It's mainly because they played brothers a lot in like a lot of other movies that people get them mixed up. And I was like, you can't blame people. If you keep playing brothers, people might actually think you're related. And it's like
They do look quite a bit alike. Like if you haven't seen one or the other for a while, you would first see them and go, wait, what? No, that's not. Wait, is that?
Isn't that the other one with like Sam Elliott for some reason? Because he's another one of those old dudes with long grey hair.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
Have you ever watched
Sorry,
Ghost
I don't know
Rider?
the name.
Emmanuel, have you watched Ghost Rider?
No.
No.
Nicolas
Okay.
Cage one?
Yeah.
It's on my
The
list,
old
but
bloke
I
in
never
that.
watched it.
I think I know who you're talking about.
I
actually.
probably know his face, but what I mean is I don't really know people by name.
No, that's fair.
Oh yeah, sorry. To go back to. Huh?
I put it in the chat. That's Sam Elliott.
Thanks. To go back to earlier, I'll check it in a minute because I'm not in my phone.
No, you'll check it now, mister.
Does anyone remember what I was saying with my opening statement before my phone ran out of battery?
I think I was disconnected.
I think you'd be the only one to say that. I think we're kind of like lost.
That's all right. We're just traveling back in time, back and forth like in Lost.
Got it back in time.
Point is, yeah, I enjoyed it. It was nice to see it again. Oh yeah, yes, it good. I liked seeing a Black woman in the job role she had, which would have been very rare in that time. Like a woman in that job is already maybe not as common, and you have them. Don't get me wrong, plenty, but a Black person and then a Black woman, and you can see that she's doing well for herself. She's like obviously quite book smart, and she also what I liked about her character, and yeah, you might say she was catching on to things too quickly, maybe, and she probably had a high IQ. Not that that really means much of anything, but not to go into that.
I have a high IQ. I'm stupid.
This is a whole different conversation. Like I said, it doesn't mean much of anything, but anyway, it can mean you're very good at certain things. But anyway, point is, that I'm trying to make. What was the point I was trying to make? Oh yeah, she was initially in shock when she sees this charred person just rise up and just gnaw the crap out of her ex, who she didn't like anyway, that much, but not to the point where she wants to kill him. She wasn't a helpless heroine. She was someone who was just like, she caught on quick to things, even though you could see that she was finding the whole vampire thing hard to swallow. She wasn't just going like, no, I can't accept this, I can't. She was being reasonable with it all. And I love to see a reasonable character. Like, she wasn't annoying. Is she caught on? And she was helpful too. I mean, I wasn't asking for the character to be helpful, but she was helpful too. She was trying to, and she probably is in the comic somewhere. I don't know. Just like, you know what? That's nice. You don't really get that too much, especially at the time. So I'm all for it.
I just wish the actress had been better.
Oh man.
No chill, Alec.
Fair enough. These are all good reasons to like the character. but that actress is pretty shit. I won't lie.
Oh man.
Simon, are you all right?
No, I've been drinking a lot.
Who are you, Alec?
It's like all of these are like 10%, and I've had like at least 10 of these.
Wait, 10%? What is it?
It's kind of like the weird mix of like alcohol and soda. It's from like Asahi, and I've just been drinking lots of these because they're delicious. But I'm like,
They're super strong.
I mean, 10% isn't that.
Yeah, it's not.
Maybe it's not that strong, but like,
I mean, yeah, it's not compared to spirit, but for like,
Well, it's strong if you're drinking pints of it.
yeah, if it's like a cider or a beer, it's kind of very strong.
I was
I
saying,
guess the question is,
that's 2 whole beers.
okay, because I've been drinking 400 mil. Oh, these are 400 mil. So 400 milliliters by 8-ish, maybe 10. Wait, no.
If you've had 8 lots of 400 millilitres, that's about 6 pints of 10%.
Oh, yeah, okay. So 6. I've had 6 pints of this alcoholic liquid.
That's
Why are you looking pixelated?
Hey!
He just falls straight back.
And I've got another one. Anyways, so what was I going to say? That I feel like Blade, as the movie itself, is not that bad. I feel like there's a lot of bad points in it, especially with CGI wise. But the acting wise, I feel like there's some.
It's still not great.
Yeah, I was going to say certain characters, especially with like. Especially it's the little but like it's like the little girl who was being held by Frost as a hostage. I'm like, she had the fucking calmest face as someone who had the fucking had like a sharp bladed nail that's also she was the calmest looking hostage that I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, shouldn't she be like crying a little bit more, or look a bit scared? She kind of looked bored, and I was like, "Why are you looking bored? You should be scared right now."
To be fair, she also got slung halfway across a park and through a bus stop.
This is before that.
So I think she might have been invincible. I think she might have actually because she lived. So, I think she might have actually been like a sleeper, sort of like eternal or something. She just.
Oh, okay. Because there was like another scene where they were with in that weird underground vault with all the scrolls and shit, and Blade saw someone running through the all the scrolls, and he sees the girl, and it's being nice, it's okay, give me a hand, I can help you. And afterwards, the girl tries to kicks fucking Blade and Wesley Snipes in the face, and afterwards he just beats the girl. And I'm like, yeah, you deserve that some reason. You tried to help, and afterwards you kicked him in the face and you get punched in. Yeah, you deserve getting punched in the face. I don't care. And there's just something about it. It was just
that was great.
Yeah, something about it. It's just hilarious. Because afterwards, it's the really fucking annoying character who is Frost's right hand man, Quinn.
The loudmouth guy.
Fucking, he's so fucking annoying, and I know
really like him.
He's made to be annoying, yeah.
Really?
But because he loses his hand again, and I just said yeah, because there's nothing else about you except for losing your hands. Losing your hands is your character trait, and I don't know if that's a bad thing or not. I only remember him because he lost his hand, and he says that really stupid fucking line. What does he say when he was at the temple? It was no. He says the phrase that because he'll be he's talking to Frost, and he's we're going to be guards. Yeah, we're going to be guards, man.
We're going to be naughty guards.
Naughty guards. And I heard that, and my body just went, oh, you're so fucking terrible. You're so gross. It was just like, ew, just like, oh, I just like something about him when he said that. I just went, ugh, I'm gonna have a shower first. It's like, ugh, gross.
I think my main problem with him is literally that he's always like, you can't keep me down, Blade. Can't kill me, Blade. And I'm like, he literally could. He literally could in 5 seconds. I don't know why he hasn't or isn't. I have no clue why he thinks this is difficult.
I think Blade likes having him around.
And then, but no one likes him other than you. And then Blade just kills him in 5 seconds anyway. And I was like, why didn't you do that the whole rest of the film and save me the trouble of enduring this fucking irritating character? When it could have been his mum. That could have actually like been the whole arc of like the character, because he has this bit at the end where he stabs her and he's like, I need to free your soul or whatever. And I'm like, what about if that was the whole thing? Like Frost is actually using his mum to his advantage and using her to ward off Blade. Blade's like, what the fuck? And he's trying to like work out who she is because she can't be his mum. And then like, but that's why he can't keep killing her. And then the very end of it is like, I need to free your soul. How about we do that rather than saddling me with this fucking return?
That would have been a great story.
Yeah, I was supposed to say, the only reason that isn't the story is that would have made this film competent. That story.
We need to have the twist at the end.
That's the kind of stuff that maybe I don't know if Christopher Nolan would actually go there. Maybe not him. I can't think of it. Some other filmmaker. Maybe they would have gone there with that film.
This is Chris Nolan's screenwriter. This is David S. Goyer.
There's actually a bit of trivia about this, because like in Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes refused to work with David Goyer, who was directing it. So basically, most of the stuff that you see is from the stunt double, and Wesley Snipes stayed in his trailer for a large part of it. But some of the scenes that he actually did, the directing assistant was in charge of his bit. Like that sort of randomly popped up for me the other day, and I was like, wow, I didn't realise the beef was that great. It was planned.
Do you know what the beef was?
Because there was that thing, wasn't there? Because they wanted him to open his eyes, and he refused to. So they CGI'd eyes on top of Wesley Snipes' face to create the illusion that he'd opened his eyes.
But there was supposed to be a fourth one, but because of the situation that escalated throughout the trilogy, Wesley Snipes was like, "No, I'm done," because they wanted to have David Goyer do a fourth one, and that's what sort of ended that.
To be fair to David Goyer, he did write my favourite line from a Terminator film, which was "Get in if you want a lift."
Wait, he wrote Genesis.
Oh no, sorry, he wrote Dark Fate. I got mixed up.
Oh.
Yeah, so I can't even credit him with that actually.
Okay. I guess is David Goyer writing this new released the remake of Blade? Oh no, he's not. Who's doing this remake of Blade?
It's the guy who wrote Logan. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But that was a special request from Mahershala Ali.
Okay. I kind of Logan
nice.
is not like
Logan was really good.
Logan is kind of interesting in its own story, right? I kind of like how it wraps up the X-Men sort of storyline. It was a bit different, so it's like, oh, it's not too bad. But I did obviously there's certain characters like the X-23 could have been written a bit better. But generally speaking, it's not that bad a movie. I kind of want to watch Logan again. Okay.
Look, for me, Logan was really good following after the last X-Men film. I know that's a very low bar. But you had that. You had some other stuff going on, but I wanted that film. I thought it was a nice change in the landscape of films at the time of what had just come out. So I was just like, You know what? It was really nice to see that it was a moving story, kind of father-daughter kind of thing, relationship. The old man caring for his like adoptive dad. Like it was just a really good story that had a lot of kind of, how do you say, moments different people could relate to, even though this isn't a superhero world. Like they've been reduced to certain situations. Like it 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 was relatable enough on a level and good enough development and kind of writer wise. It was just nice. Nice.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I just think I'm just thinking Alec must be having such a problem because we're talking about so many positive points about superhero comic book movies. I just like I don't know how are you feeling, Alec?
I ain't got a problem with Logan. That's right.
There you
It's relevant. It's relevant to talk about Marvel since we are discussing a Marvel film.
go.
It's when we're talking about something that's completely unfucking related to Marvel, and we're talking about Marvel for about half an hour, and I don't know how we got on there or why.
Let's talk
That's
about
okay.
Hello Kitty.
Because we're just
Yeah.
chatting, innit?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, if we were just going to talk about the film, we'd be done in an hour.
Well,
Yeah.
depends on the film, but
Yeah, they're independent. Because we were talking about, let's say, what was the last film that was like, I think, well, we talked about for fucking ages. Oh yeah, when we were talking about Emmanuel's film, like The Skin We Live In, we talked about that for fucking ages. It's just like, we went for ages.
So a big part of it was like you guys trying to work out how I liked it so much.
Well,
You
I
never
mean,
did
like,
find out.
it's this question of like, last time that you picked a film, Pat, Emmanuel really liked it. Like with So it's a question of like this film, Emmanuel even liked it even more than you did. So it's just like try to get why Emmanuel liked it so much. I mean, like, again, I liked it because it reminded me kind of anime-esque, and the story was. I think I gave story the lowest points, but everything else, it's like, yeah, sure, it was fine for what it was. It could be better, but like, it wasn't the worst shit because it didn't. The way that it left on its own sort of like cliffhanger is where it went off into where did it go? It went to Moscow, to Russia, and it's like, hey, there's some vampires around, comrade, or he says something really fucking like lame, and then afterwards it just ends.
Catch you at a bad time, Tovarish.
Comrade, and then afterwards he slices like at the screen, and it cuts to black, and I'm like, yeah, okay, you can continue the series. It wasn't like a jump scare, like to be continued thing, but it was like, yeah, sure, why not? Yeah.
Well, why would you worry about a jump scare when you're Blade?
Saying just really random, and maybe Ben, you might be the best to comment on this, but I just imagine instead of the music that's on the credits, I just imagine something from A Perfect Circle instead. And I was just like, oh, this would be so much nicer. It was
been the right time for it, for that era.
Yeah.
I don't know why they didn't.
Who knows?
Not commercial enough, probably.
I mean, what the music they put on there, that was just someone composed something for it. That wasn't even really good.
Yeah, I can't remember the composer at all for this film. But very like.
It was very much.
I was forgettable, I would say.
Yeah, it was very. Don't get me wrong, the music was very much of the time, and like it was very much Y2K era at the time as well. Like 2 years before year 2000. It was just like, I'm not surprised this is in it. I do wish there was something else though. But it's like, it's the 90s, almost 2000. Okay, I can forgive it. Trying to read. Oh, there's a lot of trivia on this. I haven't read up on any of the trivia. I keep forgetting to honestly.
While you're checking out the trivia, Do you think there could have been anyone else who did Blade except for Denzel Washington? I can't think of someone like on the top of my head that could play him. I feel like he suits.
Oh yeah.
What I'd say is, as much as I like Blade, I think this film, Blade, is beneath Denzel.
Oh, go on.
I think Denzel's far too good of an actor to be sort of in a film like this.
Yeah.
And that's not me being a snobby fan of a specific actor. Like Wesley Snipes was perfect for it. Like, and that's not taken away from Wesley Snipes because he's good at a specific type of film. Whereas I think Denzel has a lot more range, and I don't feel like this film would challenge him at all.
Okay. Because like
I feel like it would challenge him. He'd have to be quite physical. Because he's getting on a bit now, isn't he?
But he wasn't that
I mean,
old,
like back then, yeah,
like 30 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, I mean now you go like.
Well,
yeah.
Where you swing a sword about.
To be fair, he's doing.
Time.
He's
He'll
still
do some
doing action films.
roundhouse kicks, Denzel, and he'd be like.
I feel like because with Wesley Snipes, it's like he does a lot of like these sort of, I would like to say funnier like action films because talking about Wesley Snipes. It's the thing where he did like, it's the same with which Expendables was he in? It was number 3,
2 and 3, I think.
Was he? No, because it has to be. Wait,
I don't know
2 or 3.
Sorry, I don't know why I was surprised that you answered that. I think I was just surprised anyone answered it.
But like for 3, it's because of the way that he gets introduced as a character in Expendables. I kind
Rob
of like,
hates it.
all right, I get it because it's kind of like because he's a very wisecracking sort of guy. It's like, yeah, I know you guys want me to do this mission, but I need my shit.
No,
like,
that's not my favorite part of that.
Yeah, but no, it's something about it. It's something about that. And also, he grabs him his bag of like knives and shit. And it's like, oh yeah, this is my shit. I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. It's something about.
The bit that I remember that Rob hates is like when I think it was Randy Couture that asked him, it's like, hey man, why were you inside? Tax evasion.
See Rob's groaning face, but that's perfect. Yeah,
they actually have him say that in.
I could tell you right now, when we all went to see it in the cinema, we all looked at Rob as soon as he said it. But like, man, that was my favorite part of the film.
They actually have him say that in universe. They have him say tax evasion.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so stupid. Well, so yeah, I guess.
Good going.
But again, as I say, with Wesley Snipes as his character, right, and how he's got like the way that he acts with everyone else, and like afterwards, it's like, can I borrow your blade just to shave my face? You know, go on, man, I'll clean it, and there's like all the stuff. And afterwards, there's him as what is Demolition Man as Simon Phoenix is what I want to say. And that's like, it's just the way that he acts and stuff. I feel like it's kind of like it suits the character, but I feel like there could be better actors like Denzel or I was gonna say Will Smith, but that's not correct. But like, there's like, I feel like there could have been other actors that could have played Blade, but I don't know if it would have suited the sort of like wisecrackingness that Wesley Snipes has. Yeah, it wouldn't be the same sort of character, obviously, but it's like.
I feel like they really kind of hit the nail on the head with Mahershala because I can't. He seems like someone who can be quite threatening.
They could have done it with him.
Kind of wisecracky if he wants to be. Whereas, so like it's really irritating that they've kind of just pissed him off like the whole time. I don't know why. Because apparently, with this new film, apparently he got pissed off and demanded a screen rewrite because the screenplay he'd been given, he was relegated to like 4th lead of the film called Blade. He was like the
Wow.
fourth in line,
Yeah.
and he was like, "What is going on? Why am I
Man,
the most important character in my own film?" And it's like, yeah, it's like, but
maybe
yeah,
it was like,
Mahershala Ali, I think, is the perfect person, like
Yeah.
in the current landscape, to be Blade, and you've just pissed him off like the whole way. Honestly, I've got so much respect for him for going like, "What is this?
Yeah.
Just do it again. What are you? Why are you handing me this? Delay the whole movie. I don't care. Well, I'm not doing this."
yeah, I guess, yeah, that's it's like I can't imagine what it was that made him pissed off, because they set up for the script, right? But like, it's kind of like, am I doing like a Blade origin movie? Am I like not into the film until like the last like 30
He's not
minutes?
in- he was the fourth lead in the film. There were 3 protagonists in front of him.
How do you have 3 protagonists in the film anyway?
I don't know
Unless it's like,
why you do that.
fucking hell.
This is not like a multi-Avengers meetup film. This is
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
this is a
It's like
Blade film.
Doctor Strange getting lost in his own film where they've got Scarlet Witch and America Chavez, and like, you know, they're more important characters than he is, really.
Like, I could imagine that you're gonna have. I know nothing about this upcoming film, if there haven't been any kind of leaks of what it's going to be about, but I could imagine that you have Blade. Maybe there's a bit of what's Jon Snow's character in this?
He's Black Knight.
I can imagine a bit of Black Knight in there, just because of certain reasons, and maybe you have one other person, but otherwise, there's a chance to have a lot of fresh people. I mean, and you don't need a ton of main people. I know you guys already think that. So. Oh yeah, sorry. The part where who's Logue in this film in Blade?
Donald Logue.
Oh, Quinn. Sorry. It just made me laugh even more when I read the trivia that this guy's character, who's just a waste of space, he actually started. He actually dislocated his jaw, just falling on the floor, and they knew something was wrong when he started yelling as well. It's like, because he attacks Karen in the hospital, corridor, and she starts screaming, which is part of the script. But then he starts screaming too. It's just like, why is he screaming? He didn't get hit, and it's just like, wait, no, there's something actually wrong. Crap, we need to go to an actual hospital. It's like, we're in one. This is abandoned. This ain't a real hospital. We need to leave. So you're just running with some naked guy with his jaw hanging down. Just like, this must have been so funny. But also, like, we need to get him help. But this is funny.
I mean, there's like happy, weird accidents that happen in movies, right? The way that you described it, that he got injured on set and he used it for his like acting prowess. It's kind of the thing where, excuse me, the thought process, but like it's during the Lord of the Ring scene where where Aragorn kicks the helmet and after he screams.
Yeah.
But afterwards, he actually broke his toe. That's why he screamed like that. And I'm like, maybe maybe as an actor, he just used his pain to do the film. But unfortunately, the film was Blade. And it's just like, oh, okay, you used really good acting for a really shit film. I don't know. It's just like, just hearing you say that just fucking hilarious. I'm like, damn, when it was in like fucking like Lord of the Rings, peak acting. When it's for Blade, it's just like, what the fuck is this shit? It's just like, oh.
I was angry you brought Lord of the Rings into it, but fair enough.
But you get like the thought process, right? It's just like ugh.
You explained your thought process better than usual. So
It's the alcohol.
performance enhancing alcohol.
I am running short on time, so can I push on to favourite scenes?
Oh, so you got somewhere to be?
I'm at work at 8:00 in the morning.
Oh crap!
Oh, so yeah, you got somewhere to be. Okay, fair enough.
Yes. I'm more than willing to let you guys do your favourite scenes first.
Him getting his arm cut off for the second time was definitely kind of stupid. It's like, oh yeah, I got you. As it cuts his arm off again, I'm like, it's so stupid. Then afterwards, they tease it for the third time, where it's like, Quinn, stick out your arm. It's like, hey man, come on! I've lost it like twice already. I've lost both of my arms. I'm just like, no, I'm just fucking with it. I'm like, damn, I really wish he cut off his arm. It's kind of like the only reason you as a character fucking exists. And I'm like, yeah, that's my favorite scene. It's so stupid because it suits the stupidness of the movie, but that's about it.
If I was Frost in that moment, I'd be like, put out your hand. You go, now your other hand. Actually, put out both hands, and then I'll just cut his head off. Like, shut the fuck up.
Oh, man.
You really liked him, Alec, didn't you?
I fucking hate that character. He's so shit. It makes me question whether I like Donald Logue, and I'm like, oh, he was quite good in Vikings, but like, I'm just like, was he good enough in Vikings that I'm willing to forgive him for Blade? Don't know, maybe not.
If you have anyone to blame for Blade, blame the director.
Thank you. I will.
Because
David Goyer, he wrote it.
Yeah,
the thing is,
blame David Goyer.
who directed it? Was it David Goyer or someone else?
Someone Norrington.
Stephen
Good.
Norrington, I think.
Because
That's
David
right.
Goyer, for any of his faults, he actually wrote a much smaller role for Quinn. But I think the director liked his kind of ad-libbing comedic kind of style so much. He gave him more screen time. We would have seen him less if it was just down to David Goyer, I think. But apparently he was so funny that they were just like, we want more of him. So
What a sorry state of affairs that you think Donald Logue's fun. We got to keep him in. He's brilliant.
So that makes sense about the surfer one. I don't think that was written. I think he just came up with that crap. He came up probably with a lot of the stuff he said. Oh man. Oh, I should go into my favorite scenes actually. I would say one favorite scene and then one just great fun add-on. Pretty much I think even when I first watched it many years ago, the scene that sticks in my head is the bloodbath party. I just thought it's like especially at the time when I first watched it, I hadn't seen anything like this before. And I was just like, man, that's pretty cool, but messed up at the time. And then he just comes in, he's just like, yeah, I came in to wreck the party, just kill a whole bunch of mofos. Okay. I mean, not that it makes much sense, but it's cool. And I think one of the scenes, because I like quite a bit of it anyway, but one of the scenes, oh, actually, that's not my favorite scene. My new favorite scene, as like older, is probably when he basically has to say bye to his adopted dad, and Whistler's just like, give me the gun. Just walk away. Just walk the fuck away. Like, I have to do this. I can't. You know what it is. It's just like, oh, he's losing his adopted father. That sucks. But as a little kind of bonus one, the scene that Simon mentioned, where this is there, yeah, he wants to help the little girl, but then he thinks it's a little girl, and then this obviously this ain't some little girl. This is obviously quite a old vampire who's trying to beat the crap out of him, and it's funny because you can tell he's just like, wait, what the crap, what the. It is kind of weird because he's like, I don't want to. I can beat her up. I don't want to because she looks like a kid, and no, you just gone too far. Man, shut up. Stay down.
It's one of the times like you can beat a kid and not be bad about it, right? That's it. That's only one of a few times.
Oh right, yeah. I'm just like, oh, it's just the way he did it. It's just like, no. Actually, no, you going too far. Just shut up.
I'd never punch a little girl unless she pissed me off.
Oh man. On another note, Alec, even though it was not realistic and kind of crazy, they just threw the kid into the road. She still would have survived that. She just would have been much more obviously banged up than she was. But
I don't think she would have survived it, Emmanuel.
she would.
I really don't think she would. I'm not a doctor, but the velocity she'd have to have been going at to have travelled halfway across a park and then into a bus stop, I feel like she's dead.
She's not dead, but she might not be conscious.
I feel like she's dead. Again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physicist.
People get hit by cars all the time and get right back up. They have internal bleeding and bruising.
She got through like.
Did she get hit by a car through a bus stop, which she then shattered with her head? Because
I love how blasé Emmanuel was about that. People get hit by cars all the time.
Yeah,
people get hit by a car. If you get hit by a car at 30 miles an hour, there's an 80% chance you'll live. If you get hit by a car at 40 miles per hour, there's an 80% chance you'll die. If you get hit by a car at 40 miles per hour and you go through a bus stop and shatter it with your head, there's a 100% chance you'll die.
Pretty much, yeah.
Again, I'm not a doctor or a physicist. I feel secure in my assumption she died.
And that she was secretly a vampire as well somehow.
If she was a Terminator, I'd be like, yeah, okay, well. Also, she was a very small girl as well. Like, if she'd been a bodybuilder, I'd be like, oh, there's room. But like, she was
because Pat needs to go.
She's a little midget.
I've got like 15.
Oh.
Ben, give me your favourite thing. Ben, I heard a lot from you. Where's your favourite scene, mate?
Oh, the favourite of the scenes.
Give me
it. I think of the blood shower scene in the beginning, probably that Emmanuel mentioned, is one of the definitive bits. Other than that,
that nearly gave me a visceral reaction. Like I'm not a big. I don't usually get too. I don't like excessive gore.
It's
gore
really creepy.
Gore on its own doesn't bother me that much. But like this kind of made like this kind of created like a lump in my throat, and I kind of went, you know what? I still feel a little bit ill watching this. I don't like it. I don't like it very much. I think it's because it's like a visceral reaction thing. Because when my dad first showed me this film, he was like, "You might not like this bit," and that was always a death sentence because I'd always go, I might not like this bit, and then it'd happen, and I'd go, he was right.
I suppose it wasn't the opposite.
I was a very suggestible child, apparently. But you might find this a bit upsetting, and I was like, I am upset. Yes. That's carried over to adulthood. That scene occurs, and I go,
Yeah, it's quite gross.
I'm not having dinner anymore. That's
yeah, and apart from that, I did like the scenes with most of the scenes where Blade is just wondering with what's the girl's name? The woman he kind of like takes under his wing.
Karen.
Yeah, not an
That name's been ruined, mate.
Yeah, she's one of the better Karens. But I think the scene in the street where he's just like, when obviously he's kind of getting frustrated, and so is he with her and her reaction, and they're back and forth, and he's like, just wait and he'll be back, and then lo and behold, the hard cut until what's his face comes back in the car in the dead of night and drives off, and then they follow her. Just little scenes like that I did appreciate, because it was just the two of them just kind of like, what's the word that you'd say in a crime film, where they're kind of like doing a stakeout. Is that the right word of it? Where they're just looking for something to try and solve a mystery.
stakeout, yeah.
Stakeout, yeah.
It's got vampire connotations as well.
It's that version of it. Yeah, so I did appreciate that bit, and then them going into the facility and finding all the ruins of the vampire lore, and all that stuff. The sword thing was a bit weird, like you said, but it was still good to see Blade with like the one-upmanship, because he's always kind of like, every scene he's the one that's on like the upper hand, even if you think he's kind of like he has no fallback. But that bit, and then leading into the underground train sequence, the subway train, and that bit was well done. I think even though you knew it was CGI and it was all quite dated, it still was the best use of it in the film, I think. I think they did that bit the most justice. You can feel the speed and like the severity and all the danger of being on the tracks very well.
I may as well do mine now then. So I found that the most annoying character was that police guy. But he happened to be central to my favourite part of the film, which was like, obviously he sort of confronted Karen in her apartment, who'd been sent back to her apartment by Blade and Whistler, but she was obviously not in the know that she was bait. And then it's just like every time that police guy turned around, Blade was behind him. I just quite like the dynamic that he's sort of like at this point petrified, like he's so desperate to become a vampire, but he's also scared of probably the most dangerous sort of vampire in the film. But the end sequence with Blade having his blood drained and then it dropping down, and sort of more cheesy lines from our old friend Deacon Frost saying, "I hope you're all fucking thirsty." I really like that scene. That was actually probably one of the scenes that didn't look too bad CGI wise, compared to some other parts. I'd say those are probably my two scenes that I like the most.
Well, sorry, but when you talk about the scene where the skeletons turn into its skeleton harpy things and fly around the room.
Not necessarily that part of it. Oh, I suppose
Okay.
it was.
Okay, Okay.
Yeah, the skeleton bits wasn't okay. The skeleton bits weren't great, but I'm more talking about when between the bloods coming out of Blades and sort of dropping on the circle of vampires below.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Before
Fair enough.
yeah, that for me, I really like that bit.
Okay. Give it that.
And basically any scene that Whistler's in. I see Rob's left because he has no favourite scenes.
I'll do my least favourite scene. It's the bit when they have Frost come into the little boardroom thing, and just my screenwriting fucking senses were fucking having a fit because the Russian guy goes, "You're a fucking idiot, and you understand that if you were a pure blood," and I was like, "Oh, Deacon Frost is not a pure blood vampire. There's a hierarchy here. I get it. No problem." And then in the same scene, he has a conversation with a different vampire who goes, "Well, how dare you come in here and say things like this to us when you're not even a pure blood?" And I go, yep. Didn't need it a second time. Think I got it. But no biggie. Go on then, no problem. And then he goes, "Well, the thing is, Frost, we've all been vampires since birth. You were only turned." And I was like, "I understand. I get it, Mr. Goya. I get it. It's okay. I'm not stupid. A lot of people aren't this stupid. You didn't need to reiterate it 3 fucking times in the same fucking scene. I get it. It's cool. We could have made this a bit subtler if you wanted." And then we had extra scenes to go like, "You're not a pureblood, Frost." And he's like, "I know." And he goes, "You're not a pureblood, are you, Frost?" And he's like, "No, I'm not." And I was just like, fuck. I think like a sign of an efficient line of dialogue is when you're accomplishing a lot of things with just one sentence. But like this was accomplishing one thing with about 7 sentences, and I was just like, fuck me, I understand. Yeah, that was my least favorite scene. I think my favorite scene would be I'm not sure. Most memorable scene is the blood coming through the sprinklers. That one's always going to stick with me as just being like fucking horrendous.
Kind of gross if you think about it, because it's blood, right? Horrible. It's like getting covered with like chocolate syrup. I'm like, isn't it just gonna stick to your skin? How are you supposed to clean that shit off? It's just like, it's just gross. It's just like,
yeah, I don't know if I have a favorite scene with this one. I'm not sure. Like, other than I think my favorite scenes are all going to be meta ones, like when they're doing roundhouse kicks and no one's hitting each other. I'll just go like, yeah. I don't know. That's my take. I don't know. The film's alright. I just remember it being a lot cooler when I was a bit younger. You know, I was like, oh yeah, Blade. Let's go on then. Like, this would be a fun time. And like, yeah, I just wasn't. I'm sorry, I wasn't that bothered this time.
I'll be honest, I didn't expect you and Rob to love it this time. It's like the other week when I think it was last week when Rob was saying that he's had like a a bunch of 9 point whatevers in a row. And then I made the comment, was like, well, my pick is to come. I genuinely felt that you wouldn't enjoy it as much, and I think the scores that the two of you gave are probably fair to the way that you see films now. Obviously, I'm still fucking 2, so I'm still gonna enjoy this shit.
Honestly, the one that blindsided me was Ben. I did
That's
not
what I was surprised
Ben
with.
to score it lower than I did. I was like, hang on a fucking.
I was convinced Ben was going to be the highest scorer other than me. I didn't think Emmanuel would like it as much as he did. I think Simon's met the criteria.
Yeah, it's about right.
Yeah, you and Simon are fairly aligned on these things. I think.
Yeah, I mean, there are certain films that I feel like Pat doesn't like. I do, and like vice versa. But it's just like, so most of the time we're like, we get it. We're like, yeah, I don't mind it actually. But it's like, could be better.
Yeah.
Actually, what was my score for?
I definitely didn't expect Ben to be so critical. No offense.
The inner Alec in me is speaking.
Oh yeah. I didn't realise we were so close. Oh, mate. I don't know if Rob can hear me, but I fucking love that poster. That's fantastic.
But I'm
yes,
glad I picked it, that we could have this chat about it.
Again, like, you know, that there's never been a film club pick that I feel has been a waste of time other than Tokyo Gore Police. Tokyo Gore Police is the only one where I'm like, that was a waste of my life. I don't.
Not even The Fall.
No, The Fall was kind of interesting in how awful it was. It's a horrible film, but I feel like especially like so early. I think when you that first week or that first those first 7 picks of ours, I feel like they really set the tone for us, like just going forward. And like The Fall was like the first time, because that was the thing. Like we'd had Cabin and we'd had Moon and we'd had Blind Spotting and we'd had Training Day, and we were all kind of like just like, you know, we'd all kind of gone, yeah, they were. And then The Fall happened, and that was the first like big schism between us. We were just like, "Fuck, this was bad. This was a bad film."
Do you know that film still makes me laugh, because I remember John saying to me for years, "You need to watch this film. It's a good film." And then when he picked it, he was like, "Oh, I haven't seen it in years." But literally, the only thing I liked about it was the soundtrack.
Fuck.
Sorry, going back to the roundhouse kicks thing you said, what made me extra laugh about that scene was just in the background of that scene, you had the classic trope thing that you're not really meant to have on camera, where the next stunt guy was just like kind of like jogging in place, waiting to get involved in the fight. And then that straight after he got involved only to get slapped down straight away. It's just too funny.
It's what I mean. There's so many just weird little bits that they just kind of kept in.
Right, I'm gonna have to shoot.
Okay, well, do you want me to? Oh, okay. Do you want me to announce my bid?
Yeah, go on.
Okay. My next pick is a little film called Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh no, I quit.
Oh, don't be like that.
You've all just bigged it up so much that I'm so curious. I need to see.
No. Pick your real pick here.
Oh,
Don't do this.
sorry. I will pick my real pick. My real pick is Dragon Ball Evolution. It's. Oh, everyone's just grinning at me like corpses. I can't.
We know it's not worth, Alec. It's not worth sinking your film club.
I'm starting to
scores.
rethink the scoring philosophy. We
Yeah,
might
but
be heroes.
Alex is
This
the
is
first
gonna
one
be-
to get all ones.
This will be worse than Shark Boy Lava Girl. You
Yeah.
understand
Believe
this?
me. Anyone picks Dragon Ball Evolution, I will not watch it, but I will score it straight away.
Like if this was bad movie round, I think it could be more kind of like, you know what?
Oh,
It
believe
is what it is.
It's
It's
too
not.
bad for bad movie round.
I think it is. Yeah, it's probably. Yeah, it's definitely. It's so bad that not even bad moving around could use it. Yeah.
I mean, if we were doing worthless piece of shit that needs to die round,
That's quite a long WPOSTTD round.
No, just call it POS rounds. Yeah, piece of
Yeah.
shit round. That'll be.
Yeah, that's the best way.
That's probably the POS round. Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Seriously, my pick is Dragon Ball Evolution. No, it's not. It's
Damn it! I knew you could say it.
my pick is Master and Commander. It's starring Russell Crowe and Paul Bettany.
The Russell Crowe film.
Yeah, I've picked a
Russell
Russell
Crowe.
I picked a Russell Crowe film on purpose. That
Yeah,
is
the Crow.
I've picked the Crow. It's called Russell Crowe Fighting Around the World.
And he asks once again, "Are you not entertained?"
No.
No.
That's not fair.
I'm not promising you'll be entertained by this film. But yeah, this is. Yeah. I feel like my reasons for this film should be voiced next week after everyone's scored it, so I don't poison any wells or anything. So yeah, that's my pick. Master and Commander, Far Side of the World. It's about Russell Crowe and he's in charge of a boat. A large boat. Some might call it a ship. I don't know.
Do they need a
We shall
bigger
see.
boat though?
I'm not a sailor man. They probably do need a bigger boat, but spoiler alert, they don't get it. They have the boat they're given.
So like in Jaws, then they don't get a bigger boat.
Yeah.
All right,
There's
guys.
There's no sharks though. So
All right, guys. Nice talking to you, and I'll see you next week.
You two, see you, man.
see you next
See
week.
you later.
Yeah.
I'm Alec. I'm currently making my poster for Mother.
Oh, yeah, I haven't even attempted to make the postage yet. Fuck.
I really
Right.
like these because we've so far the pantheon is we've got number 1, number 9, number 10, number 16, number 20, number 24, number 32, and number 87. So these are going very well. Now Pat's gone. The reason I'm picking Master and Commander is because it's a Russell Crowe film where he's got a bit of a star quality to him, kind of thing. But that's kind of seen as a bad thing. So this is sort of my answer to Gladiator.
I think you'll still enjoy it anyways.
That's okay. You do what you want to do with it. But like, this is why I'm picking it. This is when people go, "Why do you hate Gladiator?" This is sort of my answer of kind of like, this is what Gladiator could have been. I just wanted Paul Bettany around calling him a dick. That's all. As long as someone called him a dick at some point, that would have been brilliant. But no one called him a dick during Gladiator, and that's why it's crap. in a nutshell. But yeah, guys, I'm so excited to see your posters.
Some ideas for a few of them. We just need time to draw them.
I just want to see them. Like, they haven't got to be works of art or nothing. I'm just, you know, Simon, if they're all sock puppet posters, that's good. I'm so
no. Okay, one of them is going to be sock puppet for sure. But I need to take pictures of sock puppets, but I need to draw the googly eyes in like MSM Paint. I just need time. I just need time to make them. I just have no time lately. But Christmas holidays and stuff are I should have a bit more time then.
To be fair, Simon, Emmanuel came up with this on Thursday, yesterday.
Yeah, there's no pressure.
I've done 5. I've done 5 since he came up with it like yesterday.
So you need to do another 10, Simon.
These don't need to be very elaborate or anything. I'm not expecting a picture of Robert Pattinson's face made up of smaller pictures of Robert Pattinson's face. I'm just, these can be little shitey napkin drawings, like whatever.
Okay. I'll when I have time. Still, when I have time, I'll just do it on make a mock-up. I have an idea for my first pick, anyways. I just need to make it. You know what I mean?
They can all be different as well. Like I'm doing a bit of a consistent style with mine, but naturally it's me. So if you want to make a sculpture out of clay or something for one of them, or do sock puppets for another one, or do like a napkin drawing for that's so cool.
That would be perfect.
I just find a bunch of toys and make do. All right, but in any case, I'll hit it there for now, and I've got an idea for what I need to do next. So
yeah, man.
Right.
Also, I just want to say again, there's no time limit on this. I just think it's a really cool idea. So if you're going I ain't got any time, there's stuff going on, that is cool. You do what you need to do, but I just think it's a cool idea. And obviously, it was Emmanuel's idea, obviously, but I just think it's a cool idea that we all kind of do this, and don't be put off because you don't have time to do it, because it doesn't need to be like a big elaborate work of art or anything.
But if they were, then
if they are big elaborate pieces of work, fucking fantastic. But again, if you're just if you're just wiping your ass and writing the Fool on it, then that's great. Don't.
Okay. Well, I think we'll end it there then. All right. Take care, guys. I said to get up early early, or not as early as Pat, I guess. But take care of you now, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Speak to you next week.
Bye.